We need to talk.
We need to talk.
We need to talk.
We need to talk. We need to talk. We need to talk.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of We Need to Talk with Pariah Sinclair. On this podcast, we talk to queer icons and notable queer people from all over the country and Baltimore, Maryland. They tell us their stories, we get to know them a little better, and most importantly, we talk some shit. So on this episode, I'm very, very excited to bring all the way from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, drag queen, sex worker, OnlyFans icon, give it up for Lana Summers.
Hi, my bad. Sorry. Horrible at technology.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So how are we doing in this moment in time on this Monday?
I'm at home relaxing. I've got my dogs on the couch. You're probably going to hear my cat meowing because that's all she does.
That's all, yeah. So how many dogs do you have?
I have two little long-haired chihuahuas.
Oh my God, that's okay. How long have you had them?
They're actually rescues, so they're like 10 years old. I've only had them for 6 months.
Adorable. And what kind of cat do you have?
Ooh, I have two Sphinx cats.
Awesome. Oh, so they're naked cats?
Yeah, they're little naked hairless cats. So they're really funny to watch one another because whenever they like get into it and start fighting, whenever they slap one another, you can hear the smack. It's like,
I love that. So what made you like get like a hairless cat?
Dex, my husband, is allergic to them, to cats, like the fur oils that they have. And so these ones don't produce as much oil. So we were like, well, let's do that. It's also weird. Like, we've got a bunch of tattoos. Let's get weird cats.
I love that. So you have two cats and two dogs. That's awesome. That's a lot of animals though. So like I'm assuming like your space is like big enough for like all of them.
The two dogs are toy chihuahuas, and the cats they have like shelves and stuff to climb on. So they all get along within a 1-bedroom studio type apartment. I don't know how we do it with all the drag, but the drag is what takes over more.
I totally understand that. Yeah, as you can see, I have like drag coming out of my closet right now. So like right now, I have like my bedroom closet. Half of it is drag, and then half of it is like for like Ryan. So fortunately, in like 3 weeks, I'm moving into a 2-bedroom by myself. So I'm very excited about that.
Ooh, you can have so much room.
Yes, Pariah has been needing her own space for a while. Yeah, when I started drag, I literally had like this like shitty portable hanger like with the wheels. Like that's what I was keeping my drag on because I just started I didn't have that much drag, so I kept it in like on that. And then throughout the years my drag was like growing, so I had to like put it in a closet. But yeah,
6 months later, 40,000 different items just collected and are bombarding your whole space. You don't have any.
Exactly. Especially like once you like you're doing drag longer, the items get nicer. So like you can't just like put shit like in a suitcase. You have to like hang it up and like
storage bags, storage containers, storage boxes,
the
jewelry.
Exactly. Like you actually have to have space for the wigs because like now you have structured wigs. So like you can't just like because I have like wigs on like a wall, but then like structured wigs are like on a styrofoam head, like on a bookshelf. So yeah, it's a lot.
And when it comes to drag, you can't even Marie Kondo it. Like if it don't bring you joy, you still got to keep it because you might need it one day for somebody else's enjoyment.
Exactly. Yeah, I've been trying to like Marie Kondo. I've been like selling a lot of my drag and like buying new drag from that. But yeah, but I feel that there are some pieces where like I'm not selling this. Like I would never.
I'm gonna need this for that one gig.
Exactly. Yeah, I just spent $600 on this one drag costume, and I will probably never ever sell it.
No shit.
Yeah, it was on
you outgrow it.
It was on a payment plan, so it was balling on a budget. But yeah, still, it was a lot. Drag is expensive, kids, and don't do drag. I think I said this on another episode, but don't do it. It's a lot of work.
It's a hobby. It's not a job. The pay's not enough.
For some, it is a job, though. It is funny when I see like girls on Instagram and like Facebook say like, "Oh, I'm going to work," and then they mean drag. It hasn't. I mean, I do consider drag a job, especially now. But like especially when I was starting drag, it didn't click that like drag could be like an actual income.
Oh, and then years after doing it, it's not the oh, I have a gig tonight. I'm gonna invite every one of my friends to come out. It's like, no, y'all, I'm literally going to work. You don't have to. It's okay if you miss tonight's show. It's okay.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm done like doing the personal invites to my drag shows. Like I have all my shit on social media. Like I literally tell people like follow me on Instagram. Like it's not even like just like for like literally if you want to come to my shows, follow me on Instagram. So
You'll see the post. If you don't see it, I'm sorry.
exactly. So Lana, what is one thing you have learned? One new thing you have learned today or this week?
Well, I've learned that at 2 a.m., whenever your drunk friends are calling you and you're fast asleep in bed, keep your phone on airplane mode. Don't answer it. Just don't even answer it. One of my girlfriends called me this weekend. She went out, she had a good old time.
Mhm.
And then somehow, whenever she started to black out, the club called me off of her phone. And I, being me and nice me, oh, she could be hurt. I've got to answer, and it's her and the bartender. And the bartender says, "Hey, so what's the move?" And I said, "What do you mean?" So I have your friend here, and she was wondering if you were coming to get her. And I was like, "Well, I guess I will." So I went to go get her. And as we're going to get her, I was like, "It is 2:30 in the morning. I've given up this nighttime life. How do you have me out at this time?" So my lesson is keeping my phone on silent, so I don't have to be up at 2:30 to get my drunk friends.
Although I relate to that. Yeah, I keep my phone honestly more times than not on do not disturb. Like my phone is usually on do not disturb, but yeah, definitely at night. Like turn the lights off, my phone somewhere like that I can't reach it. I couldn't imagine. But I agree. Like I don't really do drag like after 11 p.m. anymore.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No, you can't catch me out that late.
It's just like, but also like fortunately, especially as like drag has grown and gotten to like restaurants, like you can make as much money like at like 11 a.m. compared to like 11 p.m. So
Literally, you might make more because people are getting daytime drunk wasted. They're like, "Here, I've got all of this cash. Take it all."
oh yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, yeah, definitely, especially if like the brunch is like very well known and it does well every weekend, like you can make so much money.
I
Like
get it.
yeah. Cause yeah, I mean it depends like on the night gig, but like honestly, like more times than not, especially like where I perform in Baltimore, like a night gig is not worth it. Like not
Oh,
even
that
like in Baltimore, like not even close to being like monetarily, it's not worth it.
okay. I feel.
Yeah. I don't know. But I mean, I was in Fort Lauderdale a couple months ago, and y'all have an amazing night a drag scene there.
Oh yes, there's like literally 12 bars on one street. Everything is
Yeah.
getting operated from the doggy pet stores to the head shops to the laundromat to the dentist, the police station. Everything is gay owned and operated. It's crazy. It's like Twilight Zone.
I love it. So you live in Wilton Manors in Fort Lauderdale, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Nice.
It's the
So
most concentrated area of gays in the US.
really, I didn't know that. But that makes a lot of sense because yeah, when I was there, yeah, there was a lot of homosexuals like in one like it's like
Um,
little I don't know how to describe like where Alibi is and like where the Eagle and all that. It's like almost like a shopping center, but with
it
like a
is
whole yeah, but like a whole bunch of gay bars. I think it's
plaza with gay bars.
exactly so like you can get your shopping done, like your grocery shopping, and then you can go like suck a dick.
Have you heard of Snippies?
Nippies?
Snippies. It's the
No.
new grinder, but it's a website online. It's amazing. So you can put on their little hookup locations. So people are obviously cruising in parks. You know, gay culture. They're cruising anywhere they can. So parks, bathrooms. There was a Starbucks bathroom like location. There's the video stores. Literally one for Books a Million.
Oh my, see my I this is what I've learned today. This is something new I have learned today on this podcast is that snippies.com. Honestly, I'm surprised. I mean,
Oh, it's amazing.
that's funny. That's really, really funny. But I mean, it's probably really popular in one manners because like there's so many fucking gay
Oh,
men.
exactly. And then you go to other cities and you use it and you're like, wow, it shows like a map of people and then their little profile. And then you can click on it. You see their whatever photos because you can have nudes because it's not in the app store. Hosting, traveling, whatever you do, make it happen within literally 10 minutes. It's way better than Grindr, I'll tell you that.
So yes, if you're listening, if you want to bust a nut or get off, go on Snippies. See, you learn something new every day, every day. So speaking about that, so I'm just curious. So like what, I guess what came first, sex work or drag? Or like both at the same time?
Okay, well that's I've never actually thought about it like that. Sex work came first because I started selling shots in my underwear in a bar at the age of like 18. So it was a small town bar and it's no longer there. RIP. It was in West Virginia and I was young and still in high school and I wanted money and I wanted to hang out with gay people. So I couldn't go in the bar and drink. So I went in the bar and sold shots and made money in my underwear.
Love that hustle. I love that. Yeah, because you, if people don't know, you are probably, I don't know, like, which do you think is more popular for you? Like your like OnlyFans or your drag?
So that's the thing is drag in South Florida, everyone knows I do drag. I'm a drag queen. My friends and family know that I'm so online as well. I don't think that that gets as much traction online as obviously my Twitter with the following that it has, which is like 5 times crazy more than my Instagram, which is for mostly drag.
Gotcha.
I think sex work is much more promoted because Twitter allows it and such.
So I'm on your Twitter right now, and you have 53.8 thousand followers.
So see, I only have like six or it's like 6 to 8 thousand on Instagram. I'm not sure. So
It's
it,
like, yeah, it's so interesting, especially Instagram in general. I think it's so much harder to gain like a following.
well, I'm always shadow banned because I am a sex worker.
Yeah,
So if you ever advertise your OnlyFans, you get put on the shadow ban list, and then like it's not always permanent. Sometimes it feels like it's lightened up, but then I'll post something and then boom, like for a couple months again, I'm just not gaining traction or anything. Versus Twitter, the algorithm is made to put you with communities that are for sex workers and people who are gonna like your things and not report them.
definitely. Like Twitter does a really good job of like making you see like all the same shit.
Oh yeah, it's you see they have the algorithm figured out.
Yeah, so like it's like literally like, oh, you liked this dick pic 2 days ago. Here's another one. And I'm like,
Literally,
okay.
Twitter never gives me anything that's going to enrage me. And Facebook, they want their interaction much differently than Twitter. Twitter's like a like, a retweet, maybe a comment. Mostly it's there for likes and retweets.
Yeah.
Versus Instagram is there for likes and comments and people to like have conversations over
And
it.
sharing, like, because yeah, I like, yeah, I've had this conversation on other episodes, but yeah, like Instagram specifically is like so much about like the sharing aspect of it. Yeah, like how much you get shared, how much you get saved. That's like a big thing with the algorithm now. Like likes don't really matter, hashtags don't really matter anymore. Yeah.
Profile visits or like how many people are visiting. That's what also matters.
Yeah, and it's like there's so much more about video content than anything else really. Yeah, it's a lot of especially I would figure for you because you're dealing with kind of two types of mediums. You're dealing with like obviously drag and sex work, so you have to figure out like the algorithms for like both of them.
Uh-huh.
So that must be like a lot.
Honestly, for Instagram, that's the thing. I really don't care about Instagram. For Twitter, I'm like, I'll post my drag every now and again, but it's literally just for my bread and butter, which is sex work.
Gotcha.
And drag is like, it's my fun, it's my hobby, it's my passion. So if it gets traction, it gets traction, but I want that to be way more organic versus the sex work's my bread and butter. So I'm like always posting on that, always making sure that they're getting what they're asking for, what they're expecting.
That's awesome. So you've been doing drag since not drag. So you've been doing sex work since you were 18. How long have you been doing drag?
I had to have been 20. So I started at like 2 years later.
Gotcha. And may I ask how old are you now?
I'm 28.
28. So you've been doing so 10 years for sex work and then 8 years for drag. That's amazing. And you started in West Virginia?
Yes, I started in West Virginia, and there's a good scene there. It's small, but it's a good scene. I was fortunate to be around people who were like, "Hey, I'll help you get started." So that did my makeup a couple times, and then it just stuck, and it was something I was like, "Wow, I always wanted to be a crossdresser. This is perfect."
Amen. So did you was there like what's it called in West Virginia? Morgantown? Is that where?
That is one place, yeah. So Morgantown, Huntington, and Charleston are like the three hotspots of West Virginia.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I know like there are some like pretty sickening drag queens in West Virginia, but I know like the scenes are really small, like they're very like tight knit in West Virginia.
Very. And I don't know about now, but 6, 7 years ago, I guess 8 years ago, it was very not more pageantry, but it's just more. You wouldn't see any of the cool goth kids that you see now, like Dragula. Like you wouldn't see any of that there. You do now, but you didn't then. And with online, you get to see people like you get to make full on personas these days online and not have to go do a show.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Drag has like evolved so much. Like they're like the most popular drag queens like on Instagram that have never like performed before.
You've got it made. You're so smart.
But that's a lot of like it's a whole different craft. It's a whole different like because it's like it's so aesthetic and like makeup and like costumes and that's like more of that than like actually like, performing. Which I don't know. I'm such a theater person, so like I couldn't imagine just being online. Like I have to like be in front of people.
That's that right there. Like I'm not good about being online talking. I'm good about like getting on stage and being pretty. So I kind of like to have to come up with new looks all the time. I do the same makeup every show.
I feel that. Yeah, and especially obviously because like the pandemic made everyone go online for a while, and it was a lot, especially like, if you aren't like internet savvy or you don't really just you don't give a fuck about like being on the internet with drag and stuff. If you wanted to do drag for like a year and a half, you had to be online.
I'm still trying to figure out how to do TikTok.
It's a lot. I tried TikTok like when the pandemic first started, and it's so not user friendly. Like the editing like software they have in that app. I just gave up. I gave up.
There's with my 2-inch talons, I'm like, you get 10 minutes online. That's it. And if it takes more than that, I can't do it.
I feel that. I will say with Instagram that their the reels is so much more user friendly to like make video content on Instagram than TikTok.
I give it up for you trying to make things online. I'm like, if I can't get it in the shot that I'm doing the one time, then we're giving it up.
No, but that's the thing too. It's like when I'm performing and I host a lot of shows, so like I forget or I don't have the time to like actually like create content like that. So like if I remember, I just have to like do it because it's hard, man.
It's a whole other life, whole other world.
It's a lot.
Give it up for girls who can do it.
Yeah, seriously. And obviously, like, I think that's like the way, like especially with Instagram, how you become like Instagram famous is like by constantly putting up video content. With Twitter, like you can just I have so many followers just like posting your dick and like posting like thoughts, like yeah, just like shirtless photos.
Literally, it's just easy.
Yeah. So with Twitter, like how long did it take to like monetize that, to like monetize your profile?
I'll monetize mine.
Not like literally, but like like with like turning into like getting people to go to your OnlyFans and like making money through Twitter. That's what I mean, like, making money through Twitter.
I started using Reddit and Twitter because there's for 50,000 fans or whatever on Twitter, that doesn't always necessarily correlate to OnlyFans because just because people like you doesn't mean they're always paying for your stuff.
Yeah.
So I started instead posting to Reddit and to other like tube sites that would drive traffic back. And that's what's been really helpful. Reddit especially because it has all these like groups that are like subgroups or sub somethings.
Yeah.
And like people have all these little conversations and like there's ones that are specific, like you can only get a shot from the back or they're only for your toes. And if you post anything else, they'll remove you from the group. But if you follow their guidelines, Reddit also works off of karma. So I usually can work my way up into a group fairly quickly. And then that's how people are going to my OnlyFans. Twitter, I love Twitter. I love the interactions and I love like following other people who make content. And that's really what I use it for is to interact with other content creators. I just harass them and tell them, they're like, oh, I guess I'll work with goodness.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Very, very interesting. So when it comes to sex work, like I guess like being on Twitter, because obviously you are a woman, you're a trans woman. Did you always, when you were doing porn, doing sex work, did you always present as a woman, or did you present as a man and then transitioned into doing porn?
No, I did sex work as a male for like probably 2 or 3 years, honestly, because that was 2 or 3 years into our relationship that we both kind of just had the discovery that I was trans. I was doing drag; it was really natural, and then I was wanting to wear like my heels and my purse and I already wore my tight skinny jeans and all of that, so it kind of just naturally evolved. We did online camming. Oh, the videos are still there. I highly regret it. We did online camming for those little sites, and
Yeah.
we did it as boys. We would shave our heads. We would do all types of just weird requests online, and all of the videos are still there. So I will never give the names out, but oh my.
Yeah, who you're referring to is your husband Dex, and
Yeah.
y'all collaborate a lot together with
Yes.
OnlyFans and doing scenes. When it comes to your relationship, like does that all like flow naturally, like doing sex work together? I mean, obviously because you all fuck anyway, so
It is easy to work together. He does any scene that I do. He's always the camera person, as well as any scene he ever was doing. I was doing the camera work for him. We have good chemistry, and we are good at talking to one another without talking. Like we just kind of look at one another. So in that aspect, yeah, we can flow through a scene really quickly because one, we know how to get one another off, and then two, it's like dancing. It just works.
So when it comes to drag, like was he like supportive like off the bat when it came to you doing
It
drag?
was very sort of our first date, or I guess our second date. He ended up taking me to his house, and I like told him, and I was like, "Yeah, I really want to do drag. I love Lana Del Rey, and I just want to perform Lana Del Rey forever." He was like, "Oh, that's really cool, whatever." And he took me home, and then he ended up having a conversation with his grandmother, and she was like, "Oh, we have to help him. We have to help him be able to do drag." And this is the middle of nowhere in West Virginia. Like, she thought that was really sweet, and she cared about him, so he cared about me. And she would go to thrift stores and find outfits and then sew them and like make them my size and like vintage clothes and stuff because she knew the Lana Del Rey back then was like very vintage, Jackie Kennedy, Marilyn Monroe stuff. So he was very supportive. His entire family was supportive. The first show that I did, she was like, I don't want Austin to come home. I only want Jackie J to come home because that was my drag name back then.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, he's always been very, very supportive. He was supportive of that. He was fully supportive of my transition. And he's there at every performance, whether he's recording it, he's always changing me, my outfits, helping me style them, putting the mixes together. I could not do any of it by myself. So through sex work, drag, everything, he's there.
That's amazing. I need a man. I need someone to like do that for me.
Oh, I could never go on RuPaul unless it was couples edition.
No, but that's the thing though. It's like, yeah, drag. I mean, it's a lot for one person to do. So it's like, I mean, it's gonna be self-sufficient, but like obviously if you have help, it just makes it even better.
I like give kudos and commends to the girls who literally are driving to the gigs by themselves, packing all of their stuff themselves, zipping up, taping, tucking, gluing, putting their nails, all of that shit on by yourself, bitch. That you should get triple the pay.
Thank you. I should get triple the pay. Thank you. Because I do everything by myself. I zip myself up. I've learned how to like, do this shit, like put my arms like over my head and like zip myself up. Yeah.
They got a little hook for that, you know. They sell little hooks for you can just reach
I
back.
that is true. They do have hooks, but like when I'm in a pinch, I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. Like when I was like little in like gym class, we would always like stretch our arms like that. Like we had to like go behind your back and touch your fingers. And I was like, and now it prepared me to be a drag queen. So
Gotta thank that gym teacher.
exactly, it all works out. Like there have been times like obviously when I had boyfriends that they come and like they help me to have someone, but also like I'm weird where like I don't want my partner at all my gigs. So I think I would need someone there that I'm not fucking, that I'm not like romantically involved with.
You can boss them around and not feel bad about it.
Yeah, if I have like a platonic drag husband, that's what I need. Because it gets I probably, I mean, you and Dex seem like you have a great relationship, but it gets messy when you're like especially when I've seen the girls like argue with their drag husbands. That gets really messy.
The best drag husbands I've seen are always little trans men. They just like they got the bag, they got it, they don't care, they've got it all for you. Like, baby, what do you need? Like,
Yeah, I need a drag husband, especially because like a lot of the venues in Baltimore, actually all of them are like the dressing areas are upstairs, like up like 2 flights of stairs. So like
oh my god,
I
oh
just
my
need
god,
I know, I just need someone to walk my shit up the stairs. That's all I need.
carry this for me, baby, and then unzip it.
Exactly, and take everything out, and then put everything back in. and send it back up.
Pack it all neatly, please.
Exactly. Organize it. Yeah. If someone could organize my drag, oh my God, that would be amazing. Especially if I have like a weekend of drag. Yeah, like I'll just like it'll be in my car for the whole weekend. And
tell me you saw the thing about the Taco Bell drag queen.
Yes, I was gonna talk about that in the beginning with things I learned this week. Apparently, y'all, there is going to be several drag brunches at Taco Bell cantinas.
I think it's a US tour that they're doing. I saw that and I said, Dexter, you better message somebody.
Yeah, because I saw it's going to be in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, we messaged them. I'm like, they said, okay, well, they're going to be in contact. And I'm like, let's hope so, because that looks like so much fun. Taco Bell.
Yes.
I think it's being catered by somebody else. I don't know, but that just sounds like so much fun. That when I think about drag just being mainstream, I'm like, wow, Taco Bell made it way more mainstream.
And I loved how they did not use a real girl to promote it. Yeah, like they used Queen Pissy Miles from New York City. She was on the promo for the brunch, which I thought that was amazing because like, yeah, I mean, obviously like when you're a real girl, you have so much more exposure and all that, but it was nice.
Well, because then they're also willing to work with more local queens.
Yes. Yeah, because I like saw an article. And starting May 1st, so at every cantina location, so like the ones that serve alcohol, they will have a drag brunch. It's hosted by Quesadilla. Ha! Quesadilla is the drag queen. That's funny, girl. They probably went out of their way to find that. And yeah, so it's gonna be in Vegas, Chicago, Nashville, New York, and Fort Lauderdale. That's amazing. When I saw that today, I was like, cause I think like Taco Bell is like a very like as a brand, like they don't take themselves too seriously. So I think but it's also ironic because like obviously like Taco Bell is not bottom friendly food, so it'll be interesting like who shows up and like it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, I think that's really cool though, just to see like how mainstream and how like accessible drag is becoming.
As a 28-year-old individual, that is not something that I ever thought of as 10 years ago ever happening.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because I've only been doing drag for 6 years, but yeah, like it's great. Like when I started drag in Baltimore, there was one drag brunch in the whole city, and now there's like drag brunches every single weekend, like multiple every day. Yeah, no, Baltimore, our brunch scene is cute. Like we have a lot of brunches in Baltimore. Our night scene is different because the pandemic kind of like fucked things up a little bit, just the way things are operated now.
Don't things close early there?
Things close a little earlier, but also like because a lot of the gay bars don't do like big drag shows anymore, like on the weekends. It's more like pop-up shows. So it's like, the girls will do like one number and it's mostly just to like people for dance and like drink and mingle. There's some like big night shows that are like not at gay bars, they're like queer friendly spaces or at like straight venues. It's definitely different now, like post-pandemic. Not post-pandemic. We're still in the pandemic, but yeah. It sucks that I prefer a night. I don't know. Creatively, I prefer a night show than a brunch, but like money-wise, I prefer a brunch.
Because for the day gig, I just can't be as exactly creative.
Yeah.
I'm giving them what I know they'll like.
Exactly, especially because like your drag is very sexy, very first of all, I forgot to ask you this. How would you describe your drag? Would you describe your drag persona?
I would say that it is a mix of showgirl with stripper and a couple death flops.
Death flops. I love that. Yeah, having like a stripper showgirl, some brunches, it's can be a little racy for some.
It is very much a showstopper, a show shocker. Whenever you come out and you've got this nice little outfit on, and then you end it with pasties and a tuck it up panty. They're all like, "Where did it go?"
I feel in Florida, that's like more like you see that more like Florida, especially South Florida. There's a lot more trans entertainers.
Way more trans entertainers who are definitely leaning to the showing off the body.
Yes, yeah, especially in Miami, at Palace, Our House, all those venues. Yeah, like there are majority like trans girls that like run those shows, especially Palace. Palace has a lot of
Fantasia Royale Gaga, Wilderness, Nicki Monet, Poison Ivy. There's so many.
Yeah, I saw Nicki Minaj. I saw her at Alibi when I was there, and then I saw her at Palace. She was hosting. I've watched her like on like was it Slag Wars and other stuff, but I haven't like seen her like in person doing drag. But she was phenomenal.
She is a showstopper. She's always doing another sort of reality show or some other project, and it's like she stays busy. That's for sure.
Good for her though, because it's so hard, as we were saying before, like making like drag a full-time gig. So like you need to have like other avenues.
Also, I mean, we do have to, I know, I'm sure this has been said,
Mhm.
you know, it is awesome to have drag in our spaces, at our gay bars, in the nightlife. It's also vampiric. Like at Taco Bell picking this up, that is amazing. Yeah, it's now becoming a mainstream thing, and it loses a sense of some of the magic to it sometimes when those things happen. But it needs to be bigger. We shouldn't be in the shadows. We should be out in the broad daylight doing all of these things with big events and just showing that this is just it's dress up. Yes, it is sacred and it is comes from queer and POC communities, but it is dress up. It is beautiful. Like people should be able to express themselves however they want. And that's what drag does for people.
Mhm.
So I love it being picked up. I love it being mainstream. I love it being in people's faces whenever they're just literally pretty soon we'll have drag shows in Walmart. Okay.
No, honestly though, no, I totally get what you're saying. I mean, I think it's all like obviously how it's executed and how it's handled. But yeah, I think if it's done well and we're respected as entertainers and we're paid well and properly, yeah, like have drag everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we can't be doing $50 numbers.
But that's what I was just saying to a friend. I was like, they better not be paying the fucking girls $50 to be at Taco Bell performing.
You get a year free of chalupas or something.
Exactly. No, I mean honestly, give me like the fucking the Cinnabon balls and some Baja Blast freeze for like a year. I'll be good.
Did you see the Mountain Dew Baja Blast alcohol drink?
No,
The
oh,
hard.
I saw it, but I'm interested to see how it is.
I had two people say it. One person said they really liked it, and the other one said, I don't know if I'd do it again. I'm like, I'll try something twice.
I mean, it's in Fort Lauderdale, so you can go into the cantina.
Oh, definitely. Bitch, I'm trying to be booked. I'm not trying to set their money. I want to take their money. I want that corporate money.
Actually, I think I walked. No, I definitely passed it when I was in when I was in Fort Lauderdale, the cantina. It's huge. Like all of them are huge. Like it's crazy to think like Taco Bell being that big. Like I don't know, like spatial wise, like the like how much it takes up. Because like in fucking Baltimore, like we have the shittiest fucking Taco Bells, you know. So they're fucking run down and like
Be careful, they'll come after you.
I love Taco Bell, but Baltimore.
We were gonna have a drag show, and you're not.
No, but like it's not even Taco Bell's in Baltimore. It's like if you go to some places in Baltimore, they'll have like the shit like glass like it's like separated by glass. So like when you go in, like the workers are in like a glass thing. This is pre-pandemic. Like this was just like in not the best areas. Baltimore is interesting because like Baltimore, we don't honestly don't have a lot of fast food places. Like the fast food places are like kind of like except McDonald's. McDonald's is everywhere. But like the Taco Bells and like all that shit, like that's more on like the outskirts of the city.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Baltimore is very interesting. Like when it comes to food, Baltimore is like very interesting.
I've only been like just through. I've never stayed.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, like Baltimore is great. It honestly it depends like why you're in like what you're coming to Baltimore for.
Well, I was coming for a hoe trip, so I don't know what else.
Hey,
I didn't give it. So I said, well, I'm down to DC. We go.
DC, I think if you want to take a whole trip, DC is also much more lucrative in DC.
Good hoe tour money.
Speaking of Hotor, have you seen the movie At Zola?
I don't think so.
So anyway, so it came out last year. It was based on this Twitter thread about these two strippers. Two strippers, they were somewhere, and actually they take a whole trip all the way down to Florida to strip, and then they end up getting up like the one like tries to get the other to go into sex work. It's really interesting. You should watch it.
Okay, definitely. No, I haven't seen anything about it. Now I'm like, oh, let me just go pop that on my Netflix as soon as we get off here.
It's very, very good. what are some goals for you when it comes to drag and sex work?
Well, obviously, I don't want to be doing death flops my whole life. I've talked about a couple different things. You know, Dex and I would love to have our own studio with being able to hire models in whatever aspect it was, whether it was queer, bi, straight, whatever. I think that's something because we both are in the sex work industry, that would be fun. I don't know. I've thought about RuPaul. I have never auditioned. I just don't know if I'm ready to sign it over yet. My whole life. I don't
I
know. I looked at the girl like I'm literally today. I looked at this photo of a lot of the girls from this season, and I think I like drag now, but I'm wiped out from the weekend, sis. Can you just imagine the day to every day to every day to every day doing it? And then when you're not doing it, you have interviews and then you have people messaging you all the time. I don't know. It sounds fun in theory, but it also scares the living shit out of me to think that you're then pretty much a celebrity. You're to people.
Yeah, especially like I think the first year or two, because you're under that contract, like you, especially if you make it far, like you are going every day, tour, like literally, like because and also I wonder like when it comes to like the high contract tries to like control all of your like your all of your income. So like yeah, it's I wonder how the girls like especially that are under that contract deal with OnlyFans.
I would just, it would just be so hard. Just,
Yeah.
I looked at the photo today and they all look so, they look beautiful. They look the best I've ever looked. They look exhausted. That is one thing as a sex worker. I get to have my downtime and I get to, not be bossed by someone. So I'm like, oh my gosh, you'd make killings, you'd make bank, you'd be set for life. But so I always contemplate it, but I always come back to that. I don't know.
No, I feel you because I will say like specifically like Lady Camden, she in the finale she looked very tired.
I
Yeah.
just can't even imagine. Like literally, you're jet lag 24/7.
Yeah,
Like
especially
you're
yeah.
there, but eyeballs are still in Canada from last week.
Exactly, because it's like yeah, they were all touring, doing gigs, plus getting ready for the finale. So, and like you have to obviously you film that finale in Vegas, and then they had to go to like wherever I think New York they were to celebrate the actual finale. So yeah, it's a lot. Every drag queen has been asked if they were going to be on RuPaul's Drag Race, and it's like it's not a simple yes or no, you know?
It's obviously it's not bad, but
Yeah.
I'm saying, but it's not bad in the aspect of you're signing your soul over to the devil, but you're signing your soul over to like your life as you know it is not going to be the same for a while, maybe ever.
Yeah, literally, especially in those first like couple years, like yeah, you're in a whole new lifestyle. Even if you were doing drag, like even if you were doing drag a lot, like you're gonna be in a whole other world when you're on Drag Race.
What about you? 5 to 10 years from now, where do you see yourself?
That's I honestly I know I asked that question, but I hate this question, especially when like the 5 to 10 year question, because like I don't know, because I used to be so future oriented and just so much about the future, but like now I'm so much more about living in the present that when it comes to like 5 to 10 years, I hope I won't be in Baltimore. I want to move for the next couple of years. I'm thinking either Philly, New York, somewhere else on the East Coast, and then I hope to I don't know like when it comes to drag like I definitely hope to like be in more like, like grow my social media, grow like this podcast, maybe get into YouTube, just like grow like my brand, and hope I would love to like have like a really lucrative like weekly gig or like a couple weekly gigs where I wouldn't have to do drag like all the time.
I feel that. I feel that heavy.
Yeah, because I was thinking about like before the pandemic, I was crazy. Like I was crazy. Like the amount of drag I did, I was crazy. Like I would do like Friday night show, then brunch in the morning, then night show on Saturday, and then brunch and Sunday. So it'd be like 4 or 5 shows in a weekend, and I would do that like consistently.
You would have me dead. I would be crashed out.
And I did. I burnt out, man. I burnt out. It's crazy. Yeah. And now, thankfully, like I'm definitely in a more. I feel more balanced, and I make it like the gigs I do have are much more like monetarily they're better, and like just quality in general they're better. So I don't have to like do like, all. I don't have to do every gig that's like offered to me, which is nice.
See, reaching that point's like, ah.
Seriously. But like, yeah, but like I was just thinking about like specifically this past weekend when I performed, just like how unstable drag is like monetarily. Like literally like Friday I did a $50 booking because it was a gig I'd never done. It was a venue I never worked at. So I was like, okay, like I'll do it. The tips will be good. And then on Saturday I did a private gig and that was like a $450 gig. So just like that inconsistency, it's just
Ooh, do you use gig salad?
I do.
See, people don't ever talk about gig salad, and I'm like, that shit is amazing. That's where you get your corporate and your private gigs, and like, then you get that one person that says party of one.
Exactly. Yeah. The girls are weird though. You know how girls are like when the girls like find something, they don't want to tell anybody.
Oh my gosh, everybody was so secretive about that for like the first year that I was here, and then one woman told me, and I was like, oh, and she was like, but don't tell anybody. And listen, anybody who's ever like private gigs, what? I'm like, yeah, girl, you need to get yourself on gig salad. They will hit you up and eat you up.
But yeah, thankfully now I get like private gigs through Gig Salad, through Facebook, through Instagram. So like through all my social media channels, like thankfully I get hit up about stuff. So that's nice.
It is a blessing to be able to be back to work. I know pandemic is not over, but it is a blessing to be back to work and taking tip dollars out of people's hands.
I think that's a perfect way to wrap this up. But just put it in your hands, ladies. Don't put it in your fucking mouths. I fucking hate that.
If I tell you to put it in my panty, you put it in my panty. Otherwise, you just hand it to me.
And there's still girls that are putting dollars in their mouths.
Ugh.
I know. So this is the last part of this episode. This section is called Rave About It. So what is something you are raving about? What is something you can't stop talking about?
Something I can't stop talking about. This is the continuation. I wasn't sure if I should tell you this part of the story. This is the continuation of me picking up my friend at 2:30 the other night. So we bring her home and her dog is running around. It's been running around for hours. It needs to pee. So Dex and I, being the good friends that we are, said, come on, let's take your dog out. She's like, okay. So we got to take the dog outside. Walk outside of the apartment building. I hear this, help me.
Oh my
Help.
God.
And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then I'm over here, and I thought they said I'm up here the first time. So I thought, oh, somebody's just being drunk mess on their balcony. Whatever. So we walk the dog pees. My friend is trying to pee. She's like, can I just be out here? I have to pee so bad. I'm like, no, come on. I hear somebody go, I'm stuck. Help. And I start looking around and I'm beside this car and I thought, oh my God, somebody's in the back of this trunk. Dexter, somebody, do you hear that? He goes, what is it? And so we go to look at the back of the trunk. There's nobody there. And we're looking around. There's a bush. And then we see these two little feet sticking out of the bush. And I said, babe, go help. And he like was a little hesitant. They see him. They get scared because obviously we have all these face tattoos and it's 2:30 in the morning. He goes, are you okay? And they go, help me. And he lifts down, pulls them up. You know, we live in Wilton, so everybody does their own thing. And I would never shame anybody. So when I say this, I'm not making fun of anyone, but it goes right with the story. This is a older crossdresser who's in the neighborhood. Love them to death. I've seen them out a gazillion times. They were beyond wasted. Beyond wasted. They fell into this bush. They must have fell so hard that they left an imprint. The next morning there was an imprint in the bush and their little feet, legs, everything. Like they made a little bush snowflake angel. They get up and they're trying to get their shoe on and they said thank you. And he goes, of course. They tried to offer him 100. He says no, thank you, have a good night. We all walk away. That is worth the rent price increase alone. And
Jesus Christ.
that I
Jesus.
can people the story. I wish I could. I'll have to send you the photo because it's a whole imprint of them in the bush.
That's wild. But it's it's funny because it's like if if you didn't go to pick up your friend and everything and you weren't up at 2 o'clock in the morning, that crossdresser wouldn't have been, helped.
They would
So,
not have helped. They'd have slept there until 6 in the morning, then sobered up and had to crawl out by themselves.
see that this is why nothing good happens after like 1 a.m. Like nothing good happens.
My phone stays on silent.
That is fucking wild. Well, I think this is a perfect place to end this. Thank you so much, Lana, for being on here. Where can people find you? On the internet, in person?
I am at Alibi in Wilton Manors every Friday for an Outcast show. It is with all sex workers, trans cast. We do go-go, we do stripping. It is the funnest show I've ever done. So if you're ever in South Florida, we're at Alibi at 8:30. Otherwise, you can find me online. I'm there for your fantasies, your trantasies, whatever your heart desires at Lana Summers XO.
I love that. I love Alibi. When I was there, it was amazing. That it's an amazing bar in Wilton Manors. If you're in that area, please go. Please support the dolls. I think they have shows every night of the week, right?
They have a show twice a day, every day. It's the premier bar of South Florida. They have drag shows nonstop.
Yeah, it's sickening. So yes, and then everyone, you can follow me at Pariah Sinclair, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, PariahSinclair.com. Venmo and Cash App is Pariah Sinclair. But yes, thank you again, Lana, for being here. Thank you everyone for listening. And yeah, that's the podcast. Goodbye.